Okay, so we'll take a look at the simulation. Let's I want to identify everything. Let me see if I can yeah, I'm gonna identify everything over here. So on the right side of your screen, you can actually see the nephron under, so this is underneath the microscope. So I'm gonna identify everything, but here you can see the glomerulus. I'll turn it on so you can it'll be labeled. Let me move that off to the side so it's out of our way. You can see the blood coming in there and then getting filtered. Let's just turn on all the filters. There's the DCT or all the labels. There's your DCT. There's your PCT. Bowman's cat. Well, we don't need to label the space. Let's just do the capsule. There's a capsule around it. The afferent arterial, you can see that there. There's the efferent arterial going out. Get that out of the way. You can see the loop of Henle. So there's the descending limb of the loop of Henle. There's the thick descending um, part of it. Then there's well, we don't need to label these specific parts of the loop of Henle, but, and you're not going to be asked to label the specific parts. You just have to know the descending limb and the ascending limb right there. There's the collecting duct there or tubule, same thing. So there, everything's labeled on there for you. Let me just move some of these labels out of the way for you. You can see that a little bit better. I don't think everything else is fine though. So you do have to identify it. So like there's questions like A, B, C, D, E, and F. So what was A?
Glomerulus.
A was the glomerulus. Yep. What about B?
Bowman's capsule.
Yep, that was Bowman's capsule. What about C? And you guys have the image. I don't actually.
PCT.
Yep, PCT. What about D? What was D? D was referring to this whole thing, right?
The nephron loop.
Yep, nephron loop. And then the E, what was E?
E. DCT.
DCT, you got it. And then F was the collecting duct. All right, perfect. All right, so now that we can identify all the parts of the nephron on the histology here, now there's some other cool things that are going on here. You see the molecules moving. So we can turn things on and we can turn things off. So let's turn things off. So now we're just seeing water. We're just seeing water flowing through, which you'll see it go through. And you can see it's being reabsorbed here. Remember, the salts are getting pumped out on the ascending limb, and then water's getting reabsorbed on the descending limb here. You'll also see water getting reabsorbed at the PCT as well. Remember, actually, most water gets reabsorbed at the PCT. That's kind of cool that you can see that. You can actually see the water flowing out. If you zoom in those areas, the descending limb of the loop of Henle and then the PCT there as well. Okay, I guess that's it for that animation there. Let me see. Let's do glucose. So C6H12O6, that's glucose. Let's see that flow now. So now you see glucose, which is going to be, I guess it's like a green color. So now it's going into the PCT there, and we're reabsorbing a lot of that. You see that glucose could reabsorb all of that. And you can see it coming out there. If we, I don't know, I can zoom in actually a little bit. You can see the glucose coming out there. So again, we don't want that glucose to continue down the renal tubule because that's glucose is good for us. We don't want to lose that glucose because we can create ATP off of that. So that's where that's where it's stopping there because we reabsorbed all that glucose. Let's see. That was glucose. We looked at water. Um, I think that's good for there. But here you can actually see over on the left side of your screen. We were looking at the right side of your screen. but now you can see on the left side of the screen, you can see the glucose flowing in the blood there. Let's see if we can turn on H2O, and it should, now H2O is flowing in there too. We could look at hydrogen ions. Let's look at hydrogen ions. So now you're going to see on the right side of your screen, you're going to see hydrogen ions go get filtered out of the blood, go into the Bowman's capsule there. And you can see some being secreted in there. I can turn on sodium too. I'll turn on sodium. Sodium is going to be green. You can really see sodium there. And you should see that we're going down here. You're going to see sodium get reabsorbed on the right. So on the right side of your screen, which would be the ascending limb, you'll see sodium being pumped out. Or hopefully they'll show that. Yep, see there, you can see sodium's being pumped out on the right side of your screen here. Just like we said, you know, that we're pumping out salts over here. We're using ATP, active transport, to actually do that. Okay, so we have a little bit of time left. So then you have some questions about the like functions or descriptions of the different parts of the nephron. So then make sure you match those up. Any questions on that? I guess we didn't use the left side of our screen too much, but there you can see the kidneys. You can see these substances flowing through the blood there. I guess I can, oh, you can make the kidneys a little more transparent so that we can really see what's going on there. There's a urine being, there's a urine being produced and traveling in the ureter. You can see that there. That's pretty cool. All right, any questions on that? So that's a neat one. It's a neat activity. You can actually see it on the histology too. Do you guys have any questions about any of the matching? We can run through it.
Yeah.
So this is where further water and sodium are reabsorbed due to concentration gradient. Yep, that's the nephron loop. You got it. The next one, it says, this is where water and solutes such as sodium are mostly reabsorbed. So when I say mostly reabsorbed, this is where the majority of, let's say, water is reabsorbed in the renal tubule. That's PCT. Right away, the PCT we reabsorb, actually, I think it's like 66% of the water is reabsorbed at the PCT. So the majority of the water is actually reabsorbed at the PCT. The next one, it says, this is where filtration occurs. Where does filtration occur? Glomerulus. You got it. Then the next one says, this structure surrounds the glomerular capillaries. Yep, Bowman's capsule. You got it. The next one says, the segment of the renal tubule that consists of a descending limb that dives into the renal medulla and an ascending limb that travels back up to the renal cortex.
That's the nephron again.
You got it. When you say again.
Oh,
like,
because
It was an answer prior.
answer for
Yeah.
both.
oh man, I put 2 nephron loops.
Mhm.
I'll have to correct that one. I'll delete one of them.
Got him. Perfect.